Good morning. Coming to you from Biddeford Public Access in beautiful coastal Maine, I am Robert Piccone, and this is Issues That Matter, a show with keeping you informed as to the ever-complex world in which we live, with an eye for resources in our community at large that may be helpful to you in navigating through those complexities. Today, we are going to talk about service dogs. In just a bit of searching on the web, I realized the breadth of opportunities where dogs can provide marvelous assistance to people whose lives are exceedingly complex due to handicaps, disabilities, and the like. With us today is Joanne Picard.
Morning.
To discuss with us where she sees service dogs being able to simplify an otherwise very complex life and what she's involved in to try and advance the efforts to make it more accessible here in our community. Joanne, welcome.
Morning, Bob.
To start off, can you share with us why service dogs are important to you?
I started this journey to see if it would help me be able to continue living independently in my world. She can do a lot of things that, with my issue with MS, that if I drop something on the floor, she can pick it up. She can open and close doors. She can actually answer the door. If I fall, she can actually get me up off the floor, which I thought was quite amazing when I had my home interview. It's just in order to be able to live independently is the biggest thing. The problem was trying to find somebody in the state of Maine that does service dogs to people with disabilities, which was a task. It took me almost 4 months, and I actually had to go to Arizona in order to find somebody that would help me with this journey to get a service dog.
Now, when you say you had to go to Arizona, did you physically go to Arizona, or did you just communicate with an organization out in Arizona?
I actually communicated on the phone first. He sent me all the paperwork that I had to do to get qualified, to see if I do qualify for a service dog, which I did. They actually come to you. We don't do, the person that has all the illnesses does not do any traveling at all. Actually the company comes to you, which you have to pay for all of that yourself. You have to pay for the application, you have to pay for their plane fare, you have to pay for where they stay, you have to pay for the car rental, you pay for all their food. Basically all the expenses are on you in order for this person to come and do the home interview. Because not everybody, they want to make sure that you can take care of the dog once you get it. They want to make sure that you're going to take care of the dog, take it to the vet, make sure that you can take care of it once you have it in your home. And that you and the dog bond. Because they want to make sure that the dog and you have the same type of personality. Like me, I'm very outgoing, and my illnesses don't get me down, that the dog and I are very compatible. And the dog that I had the interview with, and the man, we were very compatible. That dog and I we were in sync all the time. So it's
now,
just...
You just mentioned illnesses.
Yeah.
Would you object to, if I asked you, can you give us an idea of how many illnesses that you currently are challenged with?
I'm currently challenged with 4 of them right now. The first one I got diagnosed with in 2004 was multiple sclerosis, which is MS. 4 years later, I got diagnosed with lupus. 4 years after that, I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And I also am fighting stage 3 renal disease, and I only have 1 kidney. So I can't tolerate a lot of the meds that they can give me for the multiple sclerosis. Number one, the meds are too strong. I can't tolerate them. And then same thing with the lupus. Those I've been able to tolerate, but I can't tolerate the higher doses, the too many side effects. And there again, with the stage 3 renal, everything has to go through your kidneys and your liver, so I have to be careful what I take. And then the rheumatoid arthritis or the lupus, either one, those 2 meds are pretty much the same.
I can well imagine that being faced with all those challenges, your life is exceedingly complex.
Yes, it is.
So if a service dog were to become a possibility for a person like yourself, I could see their quality of life being significantly enhanced.
Yes, it would. It would actually continue to help me to live independently because my spouse or my significant other, he's always gone more than he's home. So this way here, he wouldn't have to worry so much if I'm home alone. This way here, if I fall and I can't get up or she can't get me up, she could get the phone. And I was told they could actually teach him how to dial 911 if it gets to that point that I can't get around, or say I'm in a wheelchair. If I do land in a wheelchair, you know, she could call 911, or she could actually pull me to the phone. Or there's a lot of things that it's amazing on what these dogs can do. And I was quite surprised too when I had my home interview with this gentleman. And
Why don't we tell the audience, what did you see that the dog can do that blew you away?
Once he released her to me, it was amazing. She followed me through the whole house. She knew that I was the one that was ill in the home. And then he had dropped something down, and he told her to get it. She'd pick it up, and he'd put his hand down. He said, give. She'd put it in his hand. He told me to get on the floor. I said, she's not going to be able to get me up. She's a lot smaller than me. He says, get on the floor. So he had me get on the floor. And there's a certain place on the dog. He told her, he had her in front of me, and he said, brace, brace. And she braced herself. And he says, put your hands here. And she rugged herself right up, and I was able to use her to get myself up off the floor. Then I asked him, how do they open the doors with the round doorknobs? And he goes, they teach them, they put their paws and they go like this. And then once they get it clicked, they push the door so it opens. They pull it towards themselves so it opens the door. And then to close it, she just takes her nose and she pushes on the door, which closes the door. And then, of course, with the doorknobs that are the square ones, she just pushes down on it. She puts her paw behind it and she opens it. And then to open and close the refrigerated door, you have to put a towel there because the way the handles are, they're so high, she wouldn't be able to. But you put one of those towels and then she pulls on the towel, which opens the door. It's just amazing. And then the other thing is that if you don't hear the doorbell ring or you don't hear the phone ring, she can actually start barking and let you know if it's somebody at the door, or if the phone is ringing, or if there's somebody around that's not supposed to be around. She can alert you to let you know this. I mean, it was just amazing on the things that she can do. She can even lug in groceries if you teach them. But she'll come trained. When she comes to me, she'll be trained up to a certain point, and then once I have enough funding to get to where I need to be, he will finish training her for my needs. And then after that, I have to do 2 weeks of boot camp with her because the training voices for her are totally different. The commands for her are totally different than it is for just a pet dog. Yeah, like to turn lights off and on. Like for them, instead of up and down, it's off and on. That's the same thing. If she gets on the bed or she gets on the furniture, it's off instead of down. You would tell a regular dog, you need to get down off the couch. Her, you just tell her you want her off the couch. Because if you tell her to get down, she's not going to get down. She's going to stay there and just look at you and go, hee, 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 hee. She's just going to laugh at you. She's not going to get off the couch because she doesn't know the command down.
Now, I know dogs are capable of a lot of things. I don't think I've ever heard a dog laugh, and I grew up with dogs.
No. But I mean, she'll just sit, and she loves the camera. I mean, she just, because when I was having my home interview and he was taping and he was taking pictures, she was like, you know, she was just having a grand old time with him taking pictures and asking questions, and she even helped me. That was another thing that amazed me is where I have no more core and trunk muscles, it's a task for me every day. I have to do physical therapy every day at home. And she was actually helping me with my physical therapy. She had this tug toy, and we were tugging back and forth. And I mean, we were having a grand old time. Just, you know, she was pulling me this way, and then she'd pull me the other way. And
so what I think I'm hearing is that in addition to being a service dog and providing the person with assistance, the dog actually becomes a major part of the individual's life, and there is an emotional attachment. And
becomes like a very good companion, very good companion. I mean, it's almost like they become part of the family, just like if it was a pet dog. I mean, they just become part of the family. It's just, I don't know how else to put it.
Just in a few minutes of research on the web over the weekend, I came across one or two, I'll call vignettes, which struck me. And if you have a little patience, I'd like to read at least one of them.
Okay.
I'll read the brief one.
Okay, no problem.
This has to do with reading. In the Rover program, children with reading difficulties actually read stories to a dog, and the dog loves listening. A child who may be hesitant to read aloud to his peers is typically less stressed when reading to a dog, and the dog never judges the child's reading ability. I mean, that would enhance a child's self-esteem tremendously.
Correct. Correct. And they don't just teach for that either. They teach for people with seizure disorders, autism, epilepsy, blind people, people with low sugars, diabetes, real bad diabetes. It's just amazing on what these dogs can sense and do, and I think it's a thing that people need to learn about in the state of Maine, because there was nobody, like I said, I had to search all the way to Arizona.
And you did search, you did look here more locally in
I
in
went
the
to
state of
Connecticut,
Maine.
went to Massachusetts. There is a place called Pause for a Cause, but there's a 10-year wait list, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get a dog even after you get the money you need, and they're $50,000 through Pause for a Cause out of Mass. So it's like, where do you go? Where do you turn to get help? Where do you turn for people that really need a service dog, or just, and it's a 2-year process. I thought you could just get a dog and blah, 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 but no, it's a 2-year process. You have to go through your physician. You got to make sure you get all the paperwork done. You have to have a prescription. There's just a lot of paperwork before you even get your home visit to see if you even qualify for the dog, because they just don't give a dog to anybody. They want to make sure that the dog's not going to get abused, going to get beaten, going to get tortured once they get the dog. They want to make sure that you can provide for that dog. It's just like a child. You want to make sure that you can provide for that animal once you get that animal, because it's almost like a human being. After I met her, she was almost like a human being. I mean,
did you do any checking into how this would play into insurance?
that's the sad part too. Believe it or not, state of Maine is the only one that doesn't cover service dogs. They do not consider it a medical durable equipment. Every place else, the insurance will pay almost 80% of it.
In the other 49 states, it is covered under insurance.
Yep. Arizona covers almost the whole of it. But here in the state of Maine, when I called my insurance, because he told me to call my insurance company, so I did, and I got turned down. He goes, nope, she's not considered medical equipment. So that's why we decided to start doing the fundraisings, because from start to end, to get a service dog, it's $25,000 from start to end. Yeah. Just to get her where she's at right now, it's $18,000. So I have to raise, we've been having fundraisers, I have to raise $18,000, and right now we're up to $3,300.
What kind of fundraisers have you raised, and what do you have planned for the future?
So far, we had a lobster raffle, which somebody donated 24 lobsters, which I thought was very nice of him, and his name is Bob Gagnon. He donated 24 lobsters, and we split it up. We had 2 raffles at 12 and 12, and we sold the tickets $5 each, or 3 for $25, and we sold $3,300 worth there. Now we're planning a benefit dance for October 19th, which we are having at the Rochambeau Club. Tickets are $10 each there. We're going to have raffles. We're going to have 50-50. I got a lot of large items that people have donated to auction off. That will be a live auction there. But you need to get your tickets in advance there if you decide to go to the dance, because the place only holds like 400 people. The next thing we're planning is a spaghetti dinner, which we haven't chosen a date yet. We're still working on that. And we're also trying to plan a comedy magic show with Thornton Academy. That date is set for December 14th, but we haven't really finalized on that yet. So those are the 3 things that we're working on right now to try to get some funds going to help with some of the expenses for the puppy. She's actually not a puppy. She'll be almost 2.5 by the time I get her.
Another little vignette that I came across on the web. It's amazing the number of things that you can come across on the web. And this one has a international flair to it. because the dog's name, the dog's name is Finley. Now, obviously, Finley probably has some Irish in there, but Finley is a loving golden doodle who now calls Georgia home. As an autism assistance dog, Finley is responsible for making sure his handler feels comfortable and safe. He keeps his handler with him whenever they go out by tethering, ensuring his safety in parking lots and stores. His handler enjoys spending quality time building their bond by giving Finley lots of treats and making sure his water bowl is full. Not only is Finley a working service dog, he is a friend who will love his handler unconditionally for the rest of his life.
Correct. Yeah. Like I say, they're just amazing animals, and I think they really improve the quality of life for the person that has all the illnesses. That, like I'm just like anybody else. I just want to continue living independently as long as I can, and she'll make this happen. Yeah.
I see, there's a little bit of a business person inside of me, and I see an opportunity there for someone who's got the drive, the motivation, and the ambition. I see an opportunity to start a business.
Yeah, I'd be willing to help anybody else with this journey that is interested in getting a service dog or want to know how to go about getting a service dog. And if she works out for me, maybe I can even start raising service dogs here to help other people. Because this gentleman is always looking for people to help, because they start training them the minute they open their eyes. They start training these puppies. There's a lot of hours and a lot of time put into these dogs, because they take them on airplanes, they take them out in the public, they're out constantly with their little vests on, and I mean, they go everywhere with them. They're never left alone.
It's incredible.
Yep, it's just amazing. Like I say, they can help people that are blind, and like the story you had about Finley with teaching his kid how to read, or better, teaching them how to read, and it's like I say, they become part of the family, and I just feel bad that it's such a long. I didn't realize it was that entailed when I started looking for a service dog, and it's amazing that you have to go that far, and then, like I say, there's a wait list in Massachusetts, a 10-year wait list, and in Connecticut too, and then there's no guarantee that you're going to get the dog, even after you raise the funds or that you pay for the dog, that you are actually going to get a dog.
Well, I'd like to think that your appearing on this show today has moved the bar, made the bar a little bit lower.
I hope so.
Because it's important for a person to understand what they're going to be faced with if they have an interest in pursuing it. And it's important for people to realize that it can be done. It may not be done easily, but it can be done. And oftentimes the easy things are not the things that last a long time. The really difficult things are the ones that have big payoff.
Yep. And if people want to learn more about my story, they can also visit. I have a website that I've created. It's servicedogforjojo.com. So if anybody wants to hear more about my story, more in detail, they can actually go there too and visit my website, which talks about the service dog. And it actually has a little video with her and I doing my physical therapy and my home visit, and to continue, which goes into a little more detail.
Well, Joanne, I want to thank you very much for coming in to talk with us today.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Is there, before I close, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I
haven't given you the opportunity to.
No, just the biggest thing that I don't want people to get discouraged about is the cost of the dog. It is a lot of work to have the fundraising and things like that, but you just can't give up, because if you want it bad enough, your dream will come true.
Well, thank you very much, Joanne.
Thank you for having me on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, folks, for listening in once again. And we look forward to the next opportunity to impart information to make your lives a little bit easier. Thank you very much, and have a great day.